Hello everyone. So I have a bit of a chatty album share for you. When I did my heritage page last week, a lot of you requested and wanted to see my heritage album. Now, as I said before, this is probably one of the very first scrapbook albums that I ever did. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about the choices that I made for this album and why I made those choices. So I chose a Creative Memories album mostly because they are very high archival quality. I wanted to make sure that these photos would be protected and kept for as long as possible. I also chose Creative Memories pages, page protectors, same reason why, because I wanted to preserve these photographs. So this is my family tree. So there I am, and here are my grandparents. There are some that are missing because I don't have, their names have kind of been lost to time, but as much as I could gather from my grandparents, both my mom's parents and my dad's parents, I did. And these photos that I'm going to show you, now I'm not going to show you the whole album, I'm just going to show you the heritage pages, which are pretty much in the front couple bits. It's most of the album, but then as you go back, you get pictures of like me when I was a teenager and some things like that. So, and again, a lot of the products in here are Creative Memories problems, again, because they were archival safe, and anything that I purchased outside of Creative Memories products were, again, acid-free and archival safe. So this is the family pictures. Now, I will tell you right now that some of these photos are originals and some are pictures of photographs that I reprinted. So like this one, these are digital photographs that I reprinted. And you can see, okay, these two are my great grandmother when she was a year old. So these would be very, very old, early pictures. And this was one of my great aunts in her christening gown. And I grouped them together by family, and the information that I received was all from my grandparents, both of which have passed away now. So, and a lot of what I did with regard to journaling is just names. More than anything, names and how they are related to me. So these are the Steigerwalt family, and again, this is an original, but then these two would have been photographs that I took and digitally printed. Again, I used archival. I was super careful about using archival products. And at the time that I did this album, Creative Memories had a lot of fun little things that were archival safe. My journaling pen was a special pen, acid free, all of those types of things to keep these safe. So this is the Albuses. And again, a lot of just names of people, who they are, how they're related to me. I think a lot of the pictures over here are pictures that were snapped and then that I took pictures of and reprinted. Mostly, if they are photographs if they're like a standard 4x6 and I hit them with my corner rounder, they were a digital photo that I took a photo of and then reprinted for sure. So over here you have a lot of originals. So like this one is an original. This is my grandmother and my grandmother's great-grandmother. So that would be my great-great-great-great-grandmother. And I have here the date when it was taken and who is in the photo. And this is an original. So again, I left it completely. I attached it to an acid-free buffered Creative Memories page so that it is preserved. It's not going to be just, get further along. This is my grandmother. So, interesting story. In case you're looking at this and you're going, my family does not have all of these pictures. I totally understand why that would be. My great-grandfather, so this is my grandmother, her father, his hobby was photography. So for my family, I have a lot more photos on my grandmother's side than would be maybe usual, I guess. And a lot of things are dated, and my grandmother wrote some things on here. So again, she had saved all of these literally like in a shoebox, and I took them and I talked to her about everybody, and then I added journaling and I added some decorative elements because, again, this was early. This was one of the very first scrapbooks I ever did. If I ever did a scrapbook like this again, I would probably not have sticker sneezes and things like that. But the information is there, the writing is there, the photos are there, and they are being kept securely. So again, so these were photos from the 1930s that were colored. And these, again, are original. And you'll notice originals are just in there. And preserved. That was my whole idea behind placing them into this album, was they are on archival safe buffered paper and they're going to be okay. And then this, again, really kind of minimal journaling because I really want these to just tell you who is here. So this is my grandmother, and this is a 4-generation photo of my grandmother. So this is my grandmother, this is my great-grandmother, this is my great-great-grandmother, and then this is my great-great-great-grandmother. And all of them are listed here, who they are, what their names were, all of that. And then here we have, so Creative Memories, if I have to get some of the old style page protectors, and I'm having a hard time sourcing them. But these, again, so this was my grandfather, who was a photographer, and he took tons of pictures. And so I have them all, and again, they're on like archival safe buffered paper, so that they are completely saved. But yeah, these are all from the 1930s, like in dates. I have some dates, I've got some names, and yeah. So again, I have a lot more photos than what you would typically get in a family, but my grandfather was a photographer, so. And then here we have some more photos. These are from the 40s and even into the 70s. Yeah, again, very simple. This is a recipe for something called a scripture cake that my great-grandmother gave to my grandmother when she got married. And to find the ingredients, you have to look up the scriptures. And so I was very careful about it, wanting to save this bit. But I do need to find some Creative Memories, the old size page protectors, because there are a couple pages in this album that don't have page protectors on them yet. So that was my grandmother's family. Then we get into my grandfather's family. And again, a lot of these are originals. They're on the archival buffer page protectors, so that they can be preserved for as long as possible. And any names are down here, who they are, how I'm related to them, all of those types of things. And again, very simple. I really tried hard to keep things, again, this is like one of my very first goes at scrapbooking, but again, I was very careful about the products that I purchased and how I used them. And here, these are all photos of my great-grandmother, and the ones that I have of her. Here's a class picture from her school, and there's I have here marked where she is in the photo so you can find her. I never have a problem finding my great-grandmother because she was super funny and she never changed the way that she looked. But you can see the outfits here. And again, you figure my grandfather was born in 1927, so we're talking about the 1910s here in these photographs. And then this is my grandfather. And again, like even so, when I did this album with my grandparents and I had them give me that information, you know, there were photos like this one that they really didn't even know who that baby is in that picture. And so I just marked there, we don't know who that is. And so again here, pictures of my grandfather. And this is a picture of my grandfather. Now this is my grandfather's, like his senior picture from when he graduated high school. And I actually have a couple more copies of this picture. The original picture, they're in like little things. And this is a photo that I plan on photographing and digitally printing so that I can scrapbook it for my album. So this heritage album is not necessarily for me, it's for my family. And so it's not necessarily my thoughts or anything like that. It's just, this is who they are, these are the photos, these are the dates. And then some of these photos I want to snap a photo of and digitize, and then be able to scrapbook them and put my thoughts. Like, I really want to take a digital picture of this and re-scrapbook it for my family's album and talk about how crazy handsome my grandfather was. Because look at him. Oh, so cute. He was cutie patootie. And then this is my great-grandmother. And this was a photo she had taken again. This is how I remember her, because I did know my great-grandparents. Both my grandmother's parents and my grandfather's parents. So I really like this. These are pictures of pictures. And this is more of, so like this little baby down here is my mom. We're getting more into like more current photos. There's my grandfather. This is when my grandparents got married. And see, this was a picture of a picture, and it's still, the original was just too damaged. So, I mean, it was really, I remember taking a picture of this picture because this photo was so thin and so like it needed to be redone. And now we get into more modern type photos. This is my mom from the 60s and 70s. This is my grandfather with his dogs. They love dogs. And then we get into like my aunts and things like that. So that's where I'm going to kind of stop this flip through. Although I could go through and show you a couple bits. Oh no, we still have more. That's right. So so from here to here, this is my mom's family, right? And then we get into my dad. So these are all pictures of my dad when he was a baby. He was born in 1955. These are my paternal grandparents, Mary and Lester Edkin. My paternal grandmother is still alive. My paternal grandfather died many, many years before I was born. But I still have photos of him. And so we have that. And then, but you can see, okay, so you can see the difference. So this is all my mom, my grandparents, my maternal relatives, right? You saw all those like crazy old pictures. But then we get to my dad's side, and literally these are the photos I have. I have these, and then this is my great-grandmother. So this is my grandfather. This is my great-grandmother. And this is a picture of a picture, and that's it. Because then we get into my parents getting married. They're since divorced, but, you know, that's what this is. This album is just that. And then we go into me. So that's me. Information from when I was born. I have some pictures of some cousins. This is my cousin, and different things from my dad's side of the family. And so this is my newborn picture, which was taken 40 years ago now. And then this is actually like my little footprints and fingerprints and all that. Lots and lots of photos of me growing up. And I was a little pudge. Look at that. So I pulled the pictures of me out of my baby book. So my mom, she kept these baby books, but they were just books, like they weren't acid-free, they weren't anything. And you can see here how I was a little bit more loose with these photos. I wasn't as careful with them. I didn't mind, cutting them in circles or whatever. So yeah, there's that. I guess because it was me. Like, I was like, oh, me, okay. And here's an 8x10. So then we get into my brothers and sisters and my childhood and things like that. And that's where we're going to stop this, because there's only so many photos that I want to show on YouTube of myself when I was, you know, awkward. So I hope that that gives you some ideas. And I will be photographing and doing some more heritage pages. I'd love to be able to add the originals to this album, but because Creative Memories has mostly discontinued their stuff, I can't do that. So I haven't come up with a great plan for the original photos that I inherited and got after my grandparents passed away. But I have them, and I'm going to take some really nice I'm going to digitize them. I'm not going to scan them. I'm going to use a really good camera and just take a photo of them. And then I'm going to go ahead and scrapbook those. And I will definitely do videos of those too. So I hope that that has given you some ideas, and that you've enjoyed looking at all my pictures of my family. And I will see you all again soon. Bye.